Today we are myth busting. Who says you can't saute and fry with fresh pressed olive oil? That's a complete myth. You absolutely can. Olive oil, especially a high polyphenol, high antioxidant olive oil, is fantastic for cooking. The antioxidants and polyphenols in the oil actually protect the oil as it's being heated. I do have a few tips and tricks to teach you, and a wonderful dish to share with you. It's really quick, easy lunch. So anyway, please join me as I show you this recipe. So first step is very thinly pounded. You can use a rolling pin or a meat mallet. I'm just making this for one. This is just an organic chicken breast that we've sliced and pounded. Again, you can use saran wrap, wax paper, parchment. Really nice way to do it. You can do it in advance. But that is the chicken cutlet. I'm going to turn the pan on so it can be warming. I'm going to put that on about medium high. This is induction, which I don't use very often, so you guys are along for this ride with me. So anyway, let me show you the breadcrumbs we're going to make real quick. So I'm not a fan of regular Italian breadcrumbs, the like sawdust kind. So I buy panko breadcrumbs. These are just plain panko breadcrumbs. I'm gonna throw those in the little mini food processor. I have some Italian herbs, like Italian herb blend. Throw that in, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So very simple. It's getting a little warm. Okay. So that's all, just those simple 3 ingredients. I don't want to pulverize these to death. Like, I don't like the sandy Italian, the cheap kind of sandy ones you buy in like a can. I don't care for those, and panko is a little too frilly on its own. So I kind of like something in between the two. So that's what I'm kind of making here. All right, that looks good. So it's still gonna be nice, light, and frilly. Let me get this out of the way so you can see. They're gonna still be nice, light, and frilly. There's a little, and I can smell the Parmesan cheese in there too. Like, it really adds a lot of dimension and depth. And that's if you were to buy Parmesan or breadcrumbs that include Parmesan, I find that the quality of that cheese is very low. So that's why I like to make my own at home and get my own ratio of how much cheese I want in there versus breadcrumb, etc. So we're gonna have some firefighters over for lunch break, and maybe they're hungry. Anyway, we're gonna do an egg wash, a flour and egg first. So you take the chicken cutlet, turn the pan on here, go ahead and get that back up to temperature. So I've got some all-purpose flour that's seasoned with just salt and pepper. Give these a little dust. You don't have to be super precise with that. Next step is, this is whole egg and a little bit of water. Putting the flour on first just really helps this stick nicely. Let me spread out my crumbs there a little bit, because this is a nice large chicken breast. Try to get as much as you can of that egg wash off without being too concerned. But this is the all right, now the pan is almost ready. I've got it medium high. Notice I'm going to add my olive oil right away, just like that. Notice I heated the pan before I added my protein or anything else. I heat the pan, I add my olive oil, and then I add my food, almost immediately in that order. So I never let a pan sit there with oil inside very long, just kind of cooking, because it could start to burn and oxidize. Heat your pan first, and then throw in the olive oil and then the food, like really rapidly. So you get a nice frizzly, and this is a nice thick cut, so you may need to adjust your temperature a little bit. Take a quick look at that. Again, I said you guys are along for the ride on this one. I don't use this induction burner very often, so, but I just kind of move it around a little bit. And you could use this same breading recipe, I think, for a veal cutlet. Could also be really nice. You could make a veal cutlet as well. So I would say this probably cooks about 3 minutes aside, 2-3 minutes aside. Go ahead and flip this. Ooh, look at that color. And one nice thing about frying with olive oil is it just gives you a nice light fried flavor. You know, the quality of the oils makes such a difference in the final flavor of the dish. Actually, I have a swap out ready to go, so I'm going to remove this one from the heat. But you guys definitely get an idea of what we're looking for. And you can do these a little in advance and hold them in an oven at about 225 degrees for at least 15 minutes or so. So if you want to do some ahead, just hold them on a rack in the oven. This is a great way to do that. So I'm going to set this over here and have that a little later. Let me clean up a little bit. Out of the way. So the olive oil is really going to add a lot of flavor to the final dish being fried in the oil. Get this chicken cutting board out of the way. Do a little reset here. All right, we're going to make a little arugula salad to go on top of our chicken cutlet. I've got some lemon juice. So I just bought some bagged arugula here. This is already pre-washed, ready to go. Baby arugula. I'm gonna put a little lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice. A little olive oil, just a light tossing of olive oil. And a little salt and cracked pepper. A few tomatoes. And toss that around a little bit. Get everything nicely coated. You can do this all in the same bowl. You don't have to make a special vinaigrette in a special bowl. Just give everything a nice dressing and save yourself some extra cleanup work. All these tomatoes are fresh from the garden and they're just smell incredible. So in front of you, I have a swap out here that Megan made for me. I had to resist not devouring it as we were getting set up. But we like to put a nice little pile of arugula right on top, a few tomatoes. I find that acid in the tomatoes really goes well with this. Almost covering up my beautiful Parmesan crusted chicken. Love to throw on top of here. Get this a little closer where I can actually enjoy it. So I'm gonna take this and add, I've just got a classic peeler here, vegetable peeler. I like a lot of cheese on top of this because you already have cheese in the crust, so you probably don't have to go nuts, but I never complain about having too much Parmesan Reggiano. And that, as they say, that is the dish. So now my favorite part, we get to try it. I want to show how light and, I mean, the oil that the chicken absorbs is just got so much flavor. It's really light and delicate, actually. I use the bold oil from the Chilean set. I use the bold oil because it's very high in polyphenols and antioxidants. It really holds up well when being cooked over that kind of temperature. Let's see, you guys, you see the bite? Get in there, see the like layers of how it's breaded. Oh wow. The lemon in there really brightens it up. Kind of reminds me of getting like pork schnitzel or something like that where they serve it with a wedge of lemon. Just overall, it really works very well together. Great for a light supper, easy lunch. Like I said, most of it you can kind of make ahead, can hold the chicken. And of course, you know, it's a great way to showcase the quality level and how simple changes in ingredients can really elevate a dish. If you were to make this with standard canola oil or some other, you know, high inflammatory oil, you would get that kind of greasy texture, greasiness in the mouth. This is just so clean and fresh and light and full of flavor. So I can't wait for you to try it, and happy drizzling.